struggling today. Good day, good afternoon, amazing brothers and sisters. Welcome, welcome, and welcome, Tanya. Today, I am so excited to
Me too.
introduce you to this legend. So, I won't say a lot. I just will say this. I met Tanya about now, it's going to be 4 years ago. And I think
Oh,
so. More. Goodness, where's the time
5 years.
gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we met through BNI, which is Business Network International, and we were supporting each other in our businesses. And yeah, we just connected, and then we started doing businesses together, and we just became really, really great friends. At the moment, why I'm doing all of these lives and introducing these people is because I want you to meet our tribe and see what we stand for and our values and where we come from and where we're going. So if you do align with us and you want to be part of something amazing, at least you get to know who you're gonna be working with and just being supported and guided. So there we go, beautiful Tanya. Please, I think let's start from a bit of your background, of your history, before you got to this point of being a highly successful online business owner.
Absolutely. It's an amazing ride. So yeah, look, I'm just your average country girl. I grew up in Brighton, northeast Victoria, and I was actually a chef by trade from a very young age. I grew up at the age of 6. I knew I was going to be a chef, and I left school pretty early. Started my apprenticeship when I was 14 and a half, and by the time I was 17 and a half, I had my first restaurant. And that's pretty unheard of these days. But I was always so driven. I loved food, and like all good things come to an end. By the time I was 24, I'd had my third restaurant and went into business with my dad. And just one of those things you should never do, go into business with your family. And lost the restaurant and literally lost everything. And at that same time, I was in a really bad coercive control relationship with a fellow for about 5 years. And luckily, he ran off with my best friend because it was the best thing that ever happened. And I met my amazing husband through my next door neighbor at the time. So, I've been with Dale now for 30 years, and life, shit happens for a reason in your life to break one thing and make you move forward. And this is a thing I always say, and people go, oh, there's all this stuff going in my life. And I'm like, yeah, you actually, when something really bad goes in your life, it's actually there to teach you a lesson to break that pattern, create the change and move forward. And I've had this happen a lot in my life. My
It's
mum's a
called the burn toast theory. It's called the burn toast theory because something really bad happened, and in the moment you're like, oh my God, but you don't know what that saved you from. So, yeah, amazing.
100%. Yeah, my mum's a spiritual healer, and yeah, I've learned a lot of life lessons. So therefore, after that, I worked in food manufacturing for a Simpler Australia for about 5, 6 years, and we moved from Adelaide up to Cairns, followed our neighbours up, and spent 20 odd years in Cairns. Loved it, but one of the things I never prepared for was had a really major accident just after I'd been working for that company for about 4 years, and I blew the discs in my lower spine and ended up having 2 spinal fusions in 2004 in April and October, and had a lot of major complications with that. And I was told I was never going to walk again. So prognosis was pretty bad. That really sent me into a spiral of, thinking life was bad. And I was very suicidal because all I was doing, I spent a whole year on a bed just staring at a dot on the wall, and thinking, Jesus, life, there was just no way. No, it wasn't worth living because I couldn't do anything. Couldn't hold a cup of water. I couldn't sit up. I couldn't stand. I couldn't walk. And but you know what? Life changed. 5 years later, I went back to work. So, and Dale and I travelled around Australia and were able to live life again. And I think sometimes when you change your environment and you do different things, change your pattern and you do different things, the door just keeps opening, and we ended up traveling around Australia from 2010 to 15. And when we came back home in 2015, I was a lot stronger as well, because we were out doing things. We were out in nature. We were doing a lot of things, and my body was far better for it, so which was good. But one of the things for the probably last 20 years, I've been working in the education and training space, more so helping businesses build and scale through educational programs. And which is something I've been very passionate about all my life, help people with career advice and all of those sorts of things. And I've worked across every big major industry, from your electrical business, your carpentry, to oil, gas, mining, transport, logistics, you name it. I've worked in every big major ASX 200 and 500 companies. And but like anything, we got back to Cairns, and after traveling for 5 years, we realised we really needed to find another income source, because Dale and I, like, we don't have kids. We were never able to have children, but we realised that traveling requires a lot of money. You can't just travel
Yes,
and
it
think it
does.
doesn't cost anything. It costs a lot of money. So we were picking up contract work while we were traveling, and like, we earn big money when we work in our careers in our job. My last role was a manager at TAFE in Far North Queensland, running a super portfolio up there for learning and education support. And we just realised, if we were going to go and travel again, like we just did that last 5 years, we're probably going to need at least 100,000 or more per year just to pay for the basic stuff. And that would be us traveling in our own car and caravan, and free camping wherever we could, and all those sorts of things. So we thought, we're watching everybody having these online businesses. We've got to find something ourselves. So I actually spent 5 years like really hunting for the right thing. I was asking everybody what they were doing, and I've done multi-level marketing like you have, all of our lives. And I thought, before we went traveling, the last thing I was doing was Party Light. And I've done Tupperware, I've done Nutrimatics and Party Light for the last 9 years before we went traveling. And I actually had planned to take my candles with me in the caravan, but while I went off for my grandfather's funeral, my husband threw them all in the container. He made sure none of that shit was coming with us. And I know, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to get home. And, a couple of years of this bloody wax sitting in a shipping container would have gone through all the mattresses and all sorts of stuff. The stuff didn't melt at all. It was quite funny. Even though it was sitting up in Cairns for 4 years on a farm, or 5 years on a farm, didn't melt. It blew me away. But I thought, you know what, I don't want to do this stuff, the playing with the little things. And I thought I had to find the extraordinary. So I really went on the hunt. And because I have an education training background, I thought, it's got to be something out there. And I put a post on Facebook, and I didn't use Facebook back then. I had 100 friends and family on it, and that was it. And I just put posts up about Party Light, buy my shit. You should do. And someone said, I've got something I think you might like to have a look at. And I'm like, all right. Everyone's trying to show me the shakes, the drinks, the vitamins, and all that kind of stuff here. I'm like, no, that's just a time waster. You've got to sell thousands of those just to make a couple of bucks. I said, I'm looking for something that's going to make me big money. And more importantly, it had to be fully automated, because when Dale and we've been caring for our parents for the last 6 years, and Dale's father's just passed on. But when his mum does pass on, we want to be back on the road traveling again. But we want to be traveling indefinitely and permanently now this time. So that's what I've been able to do over the last 5 or 6 years, is set up all the foundations of all of this. We can really tap out now. I'm fully, retired, but I was looking for something that had to be automated. That means while we're traveling on a coastline, like, out in the middle of nowhere, like, and you're looking at a beach, you're offline, off grid, no mobile phone, and my business had to work without me there. I had to be able to do this for a month, at least. That's what I was looking at. And so we found it, and it ticked all the bucket list, and we've tried and tested now this business over and over and
Sorry.
over.
On that, I just wanted to what were the things that ticked for you? So what did you look at that was the ticking, all the things that for you worked?
I didn't have to sell, so I didn't want to be on sales calls. When we looked at a lot of other people's businesses, they actually had to be online around about 3 hours a day, or if they were doing trading, they had to be online. So that means you have to be in mobile phone coverage, you have to be in internet coverage, and it requires you a lot of time. But, you know, when you travel, you're having so much fun. You just don't have time for that kind of stuff. It just needs to be, you know, 5 minutes to 15 minutes doing something on social media, but I could schedule it. And that was what really ticks the box for me to think about, oh, okay, so I could schedule that post 30 days in advance, and I'm literally offline and people can click on a link. So I learned what affiliate marketing was, and a lot of people really don't understand the concept of affiliate marketing, because a lot of them say, oh, I've tried it. And I said, well, how did you try it and what did you do? And they said, oh, you know, I did the shake thing and I did the vitamin thing. And I'm like, well, that's not really affiliate marketing as much, but did you use social media? And they go, no. And I said, well, that's probably why it failed. So you have to learn how to leverage social media in the right way with attraction marketing and content creation and stuff like that, which is pretty simple. There's no rocket science behind it at all. And when I first started doing the training myself, I didn't even have Instagram. I didn't even use social media at all. And so I just followed the steps. Like I said, learn it, do this, follow that, do this, follow that. And that's all I did. And still 6 going on 7 years later, I still do the same thing, but I keep it really simple, really basic, and I don't overcomplicate anything, because you've got to have a replicatable business model, which means anyone can do it. Or if anybody has a business and are not scaling their business online, is really important to be making sure you do that, because otherwise you are really leaving money on the table. And this was the same principle applied from when I was showing business owners how to educate and train their staff to, you know, create profit in a business, how to run a business more effectively, how to grow, you know. And even businesses these days are still not growing the way they should be. And 90% of the time it's because they're not leveraging social media. And if you could learn how to run paid ads, you could do there's so much you can do. It's incredible. And it is literally so simple. But I found me growing organically has been the best way for me. I'm always having the most amazing conversations with people. Just this last week, I've just had a call with this great fellow in Adelaide today, and he does marketing. His social media is an SEO. So he does search engine optimization. And, you know, like even his business, he's still looking for a better income stream. He needs to still learn. He's still looking for something that can be automated. And when I said to him, well, who's your client base? And he said, oh, they're all in the health and wellness industry. I said, perfect. That's exactly our ideal client as well. So if we could show them how to build and scale their business online, how to leverage social media through ads, how to do better ads, more effective campaigns, how to hit a target market 100% all the time. This is something that people need and want, right? People need to know how to use social media. So like it is the best income source for us. Just generates, you know, passive income with the social media platform. And then when they partner with the high converting offers that are in there, that creates the incredible wealth business that we have behind us as well, you know. So for me, I remember when I first started watching the live videos in there, or, you know, and some of the master classes, and they said, you know, if you just follow the simple strategy of attraction marketing, all of a sudden people will start coming on your page. And I remember doing some videos and I was so bad, like really bad. And when I did my first live video, and I was just outside talking about some medical devices that I was using in my healing therapy, just talking about stuff that I knew. And Dale comes in, he goes, oh, babe, that was shocking. I was like, oh, I gave him the right old 2 fingers. I told him, okay, I got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and I'll just get better. And so every day I got on, I bought one of those O-rings, the real big ass ones that you put your phone in. And I got on there every day. And the first couple of weeks I did it, you know, I had a A4 piece of paper behind it and you could hear me shaking. I'm like, oh my God, you can hear the paper rattling behind the back of it. And I thought, oh shit. So what I had to do then was get better at doing it. So what I did was then I got a dot point and I wrote down what I was going to talk about. Like, so the next major things that I actually started talking about was aged care, my aged care, because I was dealing with all that around the parents. And I just dot pointed what I wanted to cover off. And then, so it kept me on point. So then all I did was have to look at every now and again and glance it down to keep me on topic. And I just spoke from the heart, just talk, didn't practice. And then all of a sudden, all these people are like, what do you do? What are you doing? What are you doing? Your social media feed comes across my page every day. I love what you talk about. It's all sorts of things. I'm like, oh my God, this shit really works. And I was like, oh my God. And all of a sudden, people started joining our business and they're going, I want what you got. I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, how can I do this? And I'm like, it's so easy. Come and do it. Just come in and we'll show you how to do it. You just plug into here, you off you go. And it's just like magic. It just happens. Like social media is a powerful, powerful tool because I've never had to sell to family or friends or anything. And I have built an incredible business. Like my organization has turned over $1 million in sales and it's just huge, So the business can be all sorts of things. And once you get the right, component of understanding how to use social media, you can add anything else into your business afterwards. But we always say partner with the right product and service so that you understand how to use social media, how to automate it, how to build it, do all that. Then you can do other things. Doesn't matter what it is later, but you've got to find the right things to start with. It's high conversion and pays
Yeah.
really good money. And so, yeah, it's been a
And
wild
I
ride.
just wanted to add, it is, and
Hmm.
I just wanted to add one of the reasons as well that I asked Tanya to come here is because she's an amazing example. Like she's dyslexic, okay, so so she has trouble with reading and writing, okay, and
Really
as she
bad.
said, she had major bodily issues with her spine. She had her arm as well that was fully paralyzed, and again, this is just an example that doesn't matter where you come from, what are your capabilities, anyone can do this type of thing. Really,
Mm,
anyone, when you put your head to and you follow the system, because having the system is really important, having a system that works.
mm,
But also, actually, yesterday I was talking with someone else, another coach on Facebook, and he was putting out that he has to retrain a lot of people because they're all focused on the strategy. While another important thing that we focus here is actually the inner work, because we do
mm,
80% inner work and only 20% strategy, because a lot of the issues, it's not that we're dyslexic, it's not that I don't know, we grew up in a poor country, it doesn't matter. It's actually that we have some blockages that we need to work on so then we can attract
mm.
what is meant for us. And Tanya does it
100%.
so beautifully. And what I love is she's fully authentic. Like she's go for it. Just go for
There's
it,
no bullshit.
and things happen. There's no bullshit, which I really love. We're very blunt. There's no bullshit. Here it is. You like it, you don't like it, it's all good. And we still keep going. And as you say, it's all about building our own brand and ourselves and sharing with people who we are and what we stand for,
Mm,
and creating really an amazing community.
absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Uh,
work has been the most incredible journey for me. Like, I think I've done a lot of stuff. I thought I'd done all the inner work, but this being an entrepreneur takes you to the next level of what is inner work and really unraveling that. And when you unravel it, all of it, then that's when the magic really starts. There's no doubt there. It's letting go of anything that has ever held you back in life. And then, geez, you can move forward at a rate of knots once that's all shifted and moved. There's nothing that stops you at all. Mm.
yeah, 100%. And yeah, it is wonderful. And so we can say, I didn't put it in the comment, but I know that you said it. We can say that your business has made over $1 million. Yeah. Because
Yeah, so
that, that's that's very
it's called an
impressive.
organization. Yeah, so I have an
Your
organization.
organization.
So I wanted a multi-million-dollar business, and that's what I have now. So which has been really great. So having an uncapped income business is incredible. So and this is setting a ceiling cap. Uh, I think when one of the books that I read was talking about you've got to break the ceiling cap of what you are used to living on, used to earning. And even in this space, we will still ceiling cap what we think we can earn. So if you think you want to earn $5,000 a day, and if you say that, that's kind of like putting a cap on it. So as I've been growing and earning more and, and really building the business and that kind of stuff, and it's just now I've set my ceiling cap at the 100,000 a month. So that's where I'm expanding to. But when you start in this business, it is uncomfortable to receive high volumes of money, and this is another a fear breaker that you have to break. For me, that was something I had to break. I had to break the way I thought and felt about it, and the way I spoke about it, and things like that. And it is really weird. It's not something people are comfortable in doing, and we are not taught this. So this is part of our entrepreneur journey of breaking our mental ceiling cap about how we feel, what we can earn, what do we, because we're imprinted and ingrained around a lot of different things. But yeah, this is whole new realm.
It's all rewiring.
Yeah, and everything we say out of here calls that into the universe. So we've got to be careful what comes out of our mouth.
Spelling, it's making spells. I say this all the time. Be careful what you listen to and what you say, because you're creating your own reality. It is so true. And so where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What are your goals for the next 5 years? I'm curious.
My next goal for the next 5 years is to take you all on that same journey, really. I would envisage in the next year or two that Dale's mum, will have probably passed on and we'll be back out traveling full time. So we'll probably travel around Australia for, 4 or 5 years or something like that. And then probably take off and just travel overseas, for the next 10 or 20 years until we can't walk anymore, really. That's our goal. Like we already, we're just very lucky that Dale and we have paid everything off. We own everything we want. So we have nothing that holds us back. We have no restrictions, no requirements. And we have a business that allows us to tap out for a month or two, or I can tap out for a year and it keeps going, which is great. So, and that's what I wanted. I have a business that doesn't matter if I take a year off, it's not going to stop growing. It'll just keep growing. And that's what was a business that I wanted. When I saw this, I was just a no-brainer. And I remember Dale's like, "What are you doing now?" And I'm like, "Don't you worry, you just sit back and watch." And he's like, so he's always now, "What can I do to help?" So,
he's become such a great support, isn't it? It's pretty exciting. And so for someone that is looking at either improving their social media or starting a new business, and they're looking, what do you think they're the top pointers of what you actually look for?
It's really hard to know what to look for. I don't think there's any right answer for this. I think when the first thing is, a lot of people say, "Oh, I've looked at this is not for me. I've looked at this is not for me." That's the wrong question. Because if you are just looking for a business is just for you, you are going to have no business. Your business needs to be something other people need and want. So the first thing is, doesn't matter who you are, whether you're 10 or you're 80 years old. So a whole family can do this, because children of these days are your next up and coming generational, entrepreneurs. So why would we not want to support them and educate them how to use social media the right way? Because you can do anything on social media and build and scale any business online. I think the first and foremost is always, I say to people, you need to have what other people need and want, not what you want, because that could be just, that's why a lot of people, I think, fail, because they're just doing what they want and it's not something other people need and want. So kind of cuts them off. Whereas a lot of people say they need multiple income streams, but if you're just doing lots of different multi-level marketing kind of things, that make you the $20 or the $50 per sale or whatever, you have too much of nothing. So there's no consistency there. Whereas this is, we're very consistent, so we have the right things, the right business model. We show people how to add and build onto their business, because and every part of what we have is 100% tax deduction, which is what I
It
love
is.
too. So even my accountant is like, you need to spend more money, and we've just did our last year's tax return not long ago, and only because we were lazy. And he said, so next you need to go and buy the big four-wheel drive you want. And then he said, next year you should be looking at going and buying your mobile office that you need. And we're sitting there going, oh, yeah.
Cool.
So, it's really good when your accountant's like saying you need to go and spend more money, like the big stuff now. And we're just sitting there going, oh, okay.
That's
Hadn't
cool.
thought about that. And the funniest thing is, the weirdest thing is, a lot of people say to me, when I tell them how much I earn, and they're going, aren't you worried about the tax? I'm like, why?
What? Yeah,
So,
see, that's a thing, a poor mentality type of thing. Like, if you're making lots of money, you're definitely not worrying about taxes. Like, that's every level has its devil, but I don't think that should be an issue.
yeah, I
So I
think the
also
other
wanted
thing
to
is,
ask you, yeah, in your personal experience, what are 3 to 5 things that are necessary in this business to be successful? So in the online space,
mm,
what are, in your experience, 3 to 5 things that you are a must to success?
yeah, I think you've just got to be highly coachable to start with. You've got to be willing to put the time in to learn some of this basic social media foundation stuff. So, and I always say to everyone that comes and starts, don't think that you're going to come in, get rich quick in the first couple of weeks or in the first couple of months. It may happen, but it may not, because if you have no audience, no skills, or like I've one lady that had a massive audience, but they were so disengaged that she has had to spend time now taking all those people off her page and go and find new people. So I think you just need to learn the art of social media. And like with the training that's in this platform that we use, it's so simple. It's really easy to follow. And I was always told right at the start, because I wasn't working, I was on a major work cover claim that whole first year and a half I was learning. And like they always say, if you are not working, or you're not working full time, you'd want to spend 3 hours a day across the day doing different things. So that would be reading a book. So, because it's got to be inspirational, entrepreneurial type to get you into that mindset. You need to spend at least half an hour, maybe in the morning, and half an hour in the afternoon in the platform learning social media, because it's really is just watching it and applying it. So you've got to watch and apply, and you've got to watch and apply, because everybody learns in a different way. So whether you are, however you learn, like for me, I've got to watch a video 3 or 4 times. I've got to apply it a couple of times. And then I always say to everyone, turn it off when you've done a little bit of training, turn it off and go for a walk and think about, how does that apply to me? Because you will always think about different things. And I go through this platform 3 times a year. And every time I come back through it, I go, I've learned something new today, or I haven't applied it this way before. And I thought, so every time I keep changing and pivoting and doing something new and different, I keep learning something about myself. And then all of a sudden I talk to a new audience. So, or I start talking to somebody that's been sitting there watching, they go, and that one thing I spoke about today, or I did a post on today, has just hit the nail on the head for the next person. So there's a lot of different things, so I always say, you've got to be highly coachable, allow some time during the week. I don't do anything on social media at night. I set a boundary. As soon as Dale comes in the door, I'm offline. I only do a little bit of training and mentoring with you guys at like Monday nights and Tuesday nights. But apart from that, I'm offline at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock when Dale walks in the door, because social media is open 24/7. So nothing's going to matter until I get up and he's out the door the next day to work, and then I'm doing my thing. So, which is great. That's what I always say. You've got to set the boundary there so that it doesn't interact your life. And this is what we teach people. My business works around me all the time, 100%. I don't work for my business, and that's one thing is a really good business, whereas the other things I've done before, I had to work for the business. So this is what is really good. So I have a lot of non-negotiables that set all my boundaries, and this works really, really well. And so I've just had visitors here for the last 3 days, so being able to do everything for them. And I'm actually running a really big Facebook ad campaign. And so today is sitting down, answering all of those, doing all that, getting their details, sending them off the details they want. So it's automated and that kind of thing. So I'm not doing sales calls, but just responding with an email. So yeah, it's there is just those things, being coachable, willing to learn. And I always say, if you give yourself 12 months and you can get through a majority of the training in this platform in 1 year, you'll stand back and you'll go, holy cow, how much I've changed, how much I've learnt, and you realize you have no fear by the end of 1 year. You don't care what other people think about you anymore, and you will really stand in your power. And I've seen
Yeah.
some of the most incredible women who are really withdrawn, like frightened, timid women, and in 12 months, I've seen them walk in my door, come over for lunch, and they just stand in their power. And
Different.
they
Yeah.
feel good. You can just see the change. And I think for me, that's really empowering to see
And I
someone's
think
change.
that comes as well because of the people we surround ourselves with. Because when we
Mm,
do this type of business, which we said it's 80% inner work, yes, it is about creating a viable passive income business, but it's also especially about changing ourselves. And because we are surrounded by like-minded people that really, really want to leave a legacy and leave this world better than we found it just gives you an extra sprint.
mm,
It's magical, the things that can happen just because you surround yourself with the same like-minded people. And actually today I saw a post of a friend of mine, and it was something along the lines of that should be all women should actually be supporting each other instead of bitching one another and being jealous. And to me, that would be common sense. So if you, and I'm talking to all the women out there that we're like me, so much hurt by the feminine and so scared to be vulnerable with another woman, this is for you, if just for the community and the people that you're going to surround yourself with, because it is a safe space. It is a place where we really cheer each other all the time. There is no competition whatsoever. Okay.
yeah.
And we're there to support each other when we are down. So I think personally this was one of the biggest things for me, and that I've seen as well with all my team, that it's so different from any other businesses that I've been into. That there is
Mm.
that companionship and support.
Yeah, look, for me, I think one of the things I was very afraid of when I started, because they say usually, you find your tribe and that kind of thing, and women just tend to work with women. Well, I have a lot of men in my business as well, but
So
I've
do I.
worked with men all my life. Like all my careers have been working with men. So for me, the fear, the start was, how do I work with other women? I was like,
I
oh,
know.
it was a bit weird. But now, now we have so many in our organization. So, but yeah, it's taught me a lot about myself, and the books that I read are have been the game changers for me. Like, some of the books I've read is huge. Like The Values Factor by Dr. Demartini was a life-changing book for me to read. It made me realize my values. I didn't know really what my values were. I thought I knew what they were, but when I read the book, I had no idea. And I had no idea what my husband's values were. And those two things, myself and Dale's, changed our whole marriage and our life. Incredible. Like Dale said, what has just changed in the last week? I said, this book I've read, it made me realize, I came out of a high level role as a manager at TAFE, and, I was kind of like the person cracking the whip all the time. I was always in control, to realizing that yeah, I didn't like myself very well. So yeah, I changed a lot of things about the way I thought and I felt and I behaved very quickly after reading that book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm very grateful for all the things the books they give us to read and all the things that we learn about ourselves to change ourselves to be better people. 100%. Yeah.
100%. Amazing, amazing, Tanya. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
guys and girls, we hope this was helpful. And please, if you do have any question, we are always open. Reach out. And yeah, sending everyone lots of love and gratitude. And oh my goodness, Tanya, I'm always so grateful for all your
Yeah.
input and support.
And you got nothing to
And God
lose and
bless
everything
everyone.
to
Exactly. Everything to gain. And just one last bit, again, doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter what age you are, nothing. This is for everyone and anyone. We're all born with the same possibilities. And it's up to us to actually shine. So much love,
gain.
everyone. Blessings. Have a great